Everybody was kind of coming out of the fog of the pandemic, and we were looking forward to the summer being moderately normal. Everybody was doing well, and it was just beautiful, and life was just moving forward so wonderfully until it wasn't. It was dark, except for that intersection was lit up like the circus was in town with ambulances and fire trucks, and the glass that was shattered on the road from his car was lighting up like a Christmas tree.
I just remember thinking, what's going on? Like, this has never happened before. What are we supposed to do?
And the paramedics said he was unconscious at the scene. We need you to come to Duke as soon as possible.
Yeah, it didn't feel really real. Yeah, we were like, oh, this would never happen to our family like this. It didn't feel like something that could actually happen until it did happen.
In the accident, he sustained half a dozen cranial fractures, a hematoma, and a traumatic brain injury. Brain injury is so unpredictable, so they can't tell you you will have your husband back. He will be the person that he was before. He will be able to do his job. You're not gonna lose your house. Your kids are gonna recognize him. He's gonna know them. They can't tell you anything because everybody's healing is different. And I would just start thinking, how am I ever gonna be able to do this? How am I gonna make it through this? And I remember thinking, I'm gonna be able to do this because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. The rest of the verse was a shadow to me at the moment because I hardly knew my name. But that was emblazoned on my brain. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I have equipped you for this. And then a doctor would come in and say, we need to insert a permanent feeding tube into his stomach because we don't know if he'll ever be able to eat on his own. How am I ever gonna do this? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And God has equipped me for this. He started remembering some things. He became conscious of where he was and why he was there.
She helped me process it. She listened to the same questions over and over and over and over again. I had 3 Father's Days that year. I don't remember one of them. I mean, obviously it was a tragic event. For so many, it was such a blessing too, in so many ways. Because you can see God, you can see his hand. You can see him working.
God was right there the whole time. He provided the peace and the direction. He equipped me to ask the right questions when I had no idea what I was talking about. Having an opportunity to build relationships with people that if under other circumstances, we would have had no reason to have met them. To witness to in a lot of ways, to be able to just say, regardless of what this turns out to be, it's gonna be a beautiful story because God has put this together.
I've said this to one of my coworkers especially. He was just asking people, of all the people, how could this happen to Brent? And I'm like, you're asking the wrong question. It's not how could you do this to Brent or to us. It's how are you going to use this? What does this mean? Not how could you allow this to happen? No. It's opening up that vision and that understanding. Life is not fair. If it was, we wouldn't know the story of Jesus. Because where was the fairness in that? It's not what it comes down to. Don't look for the fairness in a situation. Look for, okay, how are we to use this? Take your eyes off of you, put your eyes on him, and just ask, Lord, please reveal how you're using this to shape my world, to shape the people around me.
What God really showed me through the whole experience was that we are never alone. He is always with us. He's always protecting us. And even when things don't go the way that we'd planned for them to go, it's how God planned it to go.
There's always ways that you can be helpful to other people, and it's important not to be so absorbed in how you're struggling, in the difficult things that you're dealing with, and just look around at who you can be helpful to.
There was a lot of instances where it was like, God was just telling me, he knows what's gonna happen in the next month, next 2 months, next year, next 2 years. He's gonna be in the surgery room with Dad. He's gonna be in the waiting room with Mom. He's gonna be at home with us while we're anxious to hear what happened. He's got a plan. He knows what's gonna happen.
you have a relationship with Christ. I'm more earnest about that relationship now than I was before. So if nothing else came of it, I'll take it.